The episode starts with Anjali bashing the goons to protect Artie. Artie witnesses it from the ground as she gets hit on the back of her head with a wooden log. Anjali takes a trishul from the goddess statue and kills one of the goons. Pankaj gets a call from Anjali. Anjali says to Pankaj that 5 goons have attacked her and Artie. She killed one of the goons under self-defense, and the rest of the goons are unconscious. Pankaj couldn't believe it is Anjali who is calling him, but once he confirms it is Anjali, he is elated. Pankaj says to Anjali he is coming there right away. Anjali agrees and cuts the call. Raghav, Bhajan, Vaibhav, and Abhay come to the court and they try to learn who is the lawyer against Raghav that has filed Padma's case, but they do not find anything. Anjali calls Raghav and asks Raghav if he wants to know who is the one that has filed Padma's case against Yuvraj. Raghav says yes. Anjali says the name of the lawyer is Advocate Anjali Awasthi. Anjali cuts the call. Vaibhav asks Raghav what happened. Raghav says to Vaibhav that Anjali is Padma's lawyer. Vaibhav and Bhajan say it is impossible. Raghav says this is what the other person said over the phone. Bhajan says he will confirm it. Bhajan makes a call to Ganesh and asks Ganesh if Anjali has recovered as she is the one who has filed Padma's case in the court. Ganesh asks Bhajan to stop making jokes and says Anjali still hasn't recovered, and he cuts the call. Bhajan says to Raghav that Ganesh has just told him Anjali hasn't recovered. Raghav, hearing it, thinks someone is playing a joke on them, but he thinks that person has to come in front of him in the court. Raghav says he will defeat that person, and even if it is Anjali. Sadhika says to Mehek that she needs to learn cooking for her first kitchen ritual. Mehek feels sad about her marriage. Sadhika asks Mehek not to worry and says Raghav will solve her problem. Nivedita comments on the Rajput family as they are worrying for other family daughter-in-law so much, but they have thrown their own daughter-in-law out of this house. Sadhika comments on Nivedita and asks Nivedita if she doesn't care for Mehek. Sadhika gets a call from Anjali. Anjali asks Sadhika over the phone if she doesn't regret one bit as she has thrown Anjali out of the Rajput mansion, and they never thought Anjali is daughter-in-law of Rajput family. Sadhika says they did the right thing and asks Anjali who is she. Anjali vows to bring all of the Rajput family on road and she cuts the call. Sanya has Sadhika who has called her. Sadhika says someone threatened her and she felt like the voice belongs to Artie, but she is sure it is not Artie. Sadhika says to Raghav about the threatening call that she got. Raghav asks Sadhika to explain clearly what happened. Sadhika says to Raghav how she was about to teach Mehek how to cook food and how Nivedita brought up the topic of Anjali and how Nivedita supported Anjali. Raghav comments on Nivedita. Gaurav comes and takes Nivedita's side and argues with Raghav. Raghav comments on Gaurav also. Raghav later checks the phone, know that he has got a call from, and Sadhika also. Raghav sees it is the same phone and says to his family about it and comments on it. The episode starts with Anjali asking her neighbors to not tell anyone that Anjali has recovered. Artie asks Anjali if she knows who killed her father. Anjali says she knows. Artie asks Anjali why aren't they capturing him. Anjali says, because Rajyavanshi, Thakur, and Rajput family are really powerful and they need to change the way they handle them. Anjali says they need to fight them. Like Madriga, Anjali calls Yuvraj and taunts Yuvraj as he couldn't completely become son-in law of the Rajput family. Anjali says to Yuvraj that he is paying for his sins as he molested Padma, later married her and attempted to kill her. Yuvraj asks Anjali, who is she? Anjali says to Yuvraj that she saw him killing Aman and making Anjali paralyzed as he hit their car with a truck. Anjali says to Yuvraj that she will make Yuvraj, Chandraman, Uday, and Bhajan go to jail. Anjali cuts the call. Yuvraj recalls the accident and thinks there was no one there at that time beside Anjali, and only Anjali has seen him. Yuvraj calls Raghav and informs him that Anjali has recovered, and he thinks Anjali is planning something in this Navaratri and asks Raghav to be careful. Yuvraj later cuts the call. Artie returns home and she finds Ved. Artie asks Ved what is he doing here. Ved says to Artie that he loves her and he only wants her. Artie tries to leave. Ved holds her hand and pulls her and hugs her. Callie sees Ved and Artie and comments on them. Callie comments on Artie. Ved reminds Callie that she is speaking about his love. Callie asks Ved what does she mean to him. Ved says to Callie she means nothing to him, as the cinder used in their wedding ceremony was fake, and according to tradition their ritual was fake. Callie shows the wedding registry papers to Ved and says to Ved that they are legally husband and wife with this wedding registry papers. Ved asks Callie when has she taken his signature. Callie says when he was completely intoxicated. Callie says to Ved and Artie how she called Artie to the party and she acted close with Ved, so Artie will misunderstand Ved and Ved will be intoxicated due to frustration. Ved takes the wedding registry papers, tears them and burns them. Ved says now no one can prove that he and Callie are married and comments on it. Callie raises her hand at Ved. Artie holds Callie's hand and comments on her. Callie says to Artie that she will kill her and leaves from there. Artie says to Ved that he loves her and she loves him and they should not allow other people to come in between them. Anjali witnesses all of it through the window and thinks her daughter could not do something like this. The episode starts with Artie telling Ved that she loves him and that he loves her. Artie says to Ved that they should never allow a third person to come between them. Artie hugs Ved. Anjali witnesses all of this. Artie brings food and feeds Ved with her hand, and Ved also feeds her with his hand. Anjali thinks her daughter Artie could never do this. Artie gives a dress to Ved and asks him to freshen up. Ved agrees and leaves. At night, Artie puts a blanket over Ved while he is sleeping and closes the room door. Anjali asks Artie who he is. Artie tells Anjali that he is Ved Rajiavanshi. Anjali asks Artie what Ved is doing there. Anjali reminds Artie that Aman used to be in that room. Anjali questions why a person who has no connection with her is living in the house. Artie replies that she does have a connection with him and that she loves him. Anjali raises her hand at Artie but doesn't hit her. Anjali tells Artie to send Ved out of the house. Artie pleads with Anjali to allow Ved to stay, saying he has no other place to go. Anjali argues with Artie, reminding her that Ved is already married to someone else, so she cannot love him. Artie insists that the marriage was fake and says Padma herself can confirm it. Anjali says she doesn't want to know anything and again orders Artie to send Ved away. Artie pleads with Anjali to let Ved stay, but Anjali refuses and knocks on the door. Ved says the door is open. Anjali enters the room and asks Ved to leave the house, reminding him that he is married and what he is doing is illegal. Ved tells Anjali that the marriage was fake and says she can ask anyone. Anjali refuses to listen and again tells him to leave. Artie pleads with folded hands, but Ved tells Artie not to beg, even from her mother. He says he will leave on his own. Ved tells Anjali that one day she will regret her mistake, and then he leaves. Anjali tells Artie to go to sleep. Artie replies that since Anjali never raised her, she might not love her and makes a comment on it. Anjali asks Artie to shut up and scolds her. Artie thinks about Ved and becomes emotional. Callie tells Ved's family members that she wants Ved. Uday says that if she claims Ved, then where are the papers, and asks her to give them so Raghav can appear for her in court. Callie says Ved burned the papers. Sonali tells her to wipe off her sindoor as well since they cannot prove anything in court. Callie says she cannot live without Ved and demands that they bring Ved to her. Otherwise, the Rajput family and Thakur family will end up in jail. Callie receives a call and answers it. Anjali asks if she is Callie. Callie says yes and asks who she is. Anjali introduces herself as a lawyer and says she will reveal her details later. She asks if Callie is really married to Ved. Callie says yes, she is married to Ved with all customs and traditions. She accuses Artie of trying to break her home as Artie is having an affair with her husband. Anjali warns her to shut up. About Artie, she says, as a woman, she should learn to respect other women. Callie suspects that Anjali is related to Artie and asks her name and what kind of lawyer she is. Anjali says if she is truly married to Ved, then she will get him. But otherwise, Ved is free to marry the Gil he loves, Artie. Anjali assures her that if she can bring proof of marriage, she will ensure she gets justice, and she promises this before cutting the call. Uday and Sonalika ask who called. Callie says some lawyer called and promised to help her get her husband. She says she is choosing to believe her words. Episode ends.